black numbers were not going to be at the top just because of sheer population. But percentage-wise, if 1 in 3 black men is getting incarcerated for some reason, it could be some dumb reason like marijuana, which we legalize, and people still serving time for that. Um, that's a little bit different than 1 in 10. It's a little bit different. 1 out of every 3 people is out of your neighborhood don't have voter rights, can't get an SBA loan because they have a felony on their record or some type of thing on their record. So that's why we started BF Fund, to really look at how do we curb some of these institutional situations that have been done to us, whether that is redlining, black codes, mass incarceration, even the housing market crisis, where we say, okay, it's all flat, everybody got the same type of housing, but we know historically speaking, and the data shows that black people got worse loans, higher interest rates with these balloon rates, and they were forced out. So we're looking at how how do we correct this? How do we invest in businesses? How do we put like some of these blighted buildings? When I ride through South DeKalb, this building blight, prime time no longer there. This Kroger gone. This Quick Trip gone. The little mama pop spot gone. The McDonald's gone. It's just buildings here. It's mad development. So how do we get the capital inside the community's hands so they can invest back inside of their business, so that we can get coffee shops, so that we can get we do got a smoothie shop though. Make sure you check out Tropical Smoothie Cafe over there in Wesley Chapel. But how do we get restaurants, sit down restaurants? People in South DeKalb constantly saying, hey, well, I know sit down restaurant outside of Red Lobster. Uh, and it's been since I was a kid. So how do we get restaurants, whether chain restaurants, out the window? How do we get local mama pop spots? The sit down rib joint with the outside, the taco joint where you can go get the tacos for Cinco de Mayo. You got pesos on also on flat shows. So let's not forget the ones that are there. But how do we enhance on that and take some of the blight and reinvest back in the community? So that was a big reason for starting the BI Fund, Black Forward Fund, because we knew that in order to improve our destiny, improve where we're going, improve on our community, it's going to have to be within the community. We're going to have dedicated funding to hit the lack of investment. You're going to have to, these situations weren't flat. Oh, nobody gets GI Bills. No, black soldiers don't get GI Bills. It wasn't everybody. No. This community over here is particularly minority, particularly black at the time. We're going to redline. We're going to disinvest in their community. It wasn't, well, black codes. Yeah, that was for everybody. That's why they call them black codes. Yeah. So they specifically are looking at black people, and they made codes. So basically, you can't read, you can't walk next to a railroad track, or you get arrested. You look at the crack versus cocaine situation, dumping crack and contraband, and how they were dumping that into our communities. Uh, these were targeted attacks on black communities. And in order to fix these attacks on black communities, you have to do a solution that fixes that, and then you get everybody back to a playing field, and then level playing field, and then you can come across and do services that are across the board, rainbow services where you can do across the board to do that. But until that is, you have to fix these systems that were designed to specifically affect communities. Whether it's, we talk about black communities, but it was specific things racially motivated on Hispanic communities, specifically things that are on Asian communities, specifically. But we're in America, so we know it keeps being a target every time. But you have to fix the racial problems with racial solutions until you get everybody back flat. So that's why we're looking at the investments out the cab. We're looking at BF Fund, and how do we fix our communities to better our communities, and then you can better communities together. That's why we do these workshops. So it's workshops so we can do peer learning, come with common problems that we have, learn from one another. another and create community. And when you create community, then you create solutions compared to being a silo. And I'm trying to figure out how to get funding over here, or I'm trying to figure out how to write a business plan over here by myself. We can work together and we can put tools together and say, oh, this is the problem with your business plan, or this is the problem with your financing. And then we can work together on these community solutions and teach one. But that's why we host these workshops every last Saturday of the month. This month is going to be May 30th, about intro to funding, learning type of funding. We'll go over that.
That's the question. So, which types of funding are available to the small businesses in our area or that come out to these workshops?
So the type of funding that will be available to these areas are going to be debt capital. Debt capital is basically capital that you got to pay back. Debt. It's usually at an interest rate, probably about 7 to 10%, depending on what the times are. Similar to a home loan, debt capital. Equity capital, which we're not touching right now, but equity capital is also available. That's usually VC capital. VC capital is basically you give up a percentage of your business. Say somebody gives you 100,000, they want 50% of your business. They're evaluating your business at 200,000, basically, and then you do the math from there. But that's equity capital. That means you're giving up a portion of your business. That means business decisions. You can't do this. And then you have grant capital. Grant capital is one of the ones everybody goes after. It's the one that usually you forget when you do a couple reports. They have a measurements that you have to meet. We're gonna service this type of business, so similar to a scholarship in a sense. You gotta meet these measurements. You tell them you meet these measurements, they solve a problem. These grant capitals usually can come. Sometimes it comes from banks. Sometimes it can come from foundations. So that's one type of capital, and we're gonna have someone at the meeting on. Well, not even meeting at the workshop at the end of the month. It's going to specifically focus on grant writing. That way you can do grant writing, because usually it's about positioning your business or your proposition in a way that solves the problem and aligns with uh, whatever the grantor is trying to get done. So those three different types of capitals that we're going to focus on. There's more in depth other capital. You talk about revenue based capital, different equity based capital, similar. Well, we talk about equity, but different type of capital. But those are the three we're going to focus on this time, and just introducing people to funding so they can know what they're going out and getting. So someone may say on this time, and just introducing people to funding so they can know what they're going out and getting. So someone may say, oh, VC capital, until you realize they own 50% of your business and you can't do nothing that you want to do. Or you might say, I want grant capital, until you realize, oh, this grant's not going to come back for another year, and then you need capital right now. Or you want debt capital, and you're like, okay, I don't want debt, but that you might need debt, and it might come at 7%, but you might make 15% back off this debt capital. But also debt capital, you may not have the income coming in, so you take that debt capital and you can't pay it. That will be the issue with debt capital. So just go over these little things, and then we'll work with groups and work with people that come to the workshop, and they'll talk about the different type of capital either they got or they're looking to receive. And so that'll be what the workshop is.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So it's nice that you out here doing things in South DeKalb. What else do you have planned for BFON in the area, specifically South DeKalb?
So our main focus right now is South DeKalb. We will venture out, but the main focus is in South DeKalb. So what we're doing right now is workshops, and then we'll do one-on-one technical assistance. That's basically if you came to the workshop and you couldn't, you need to go more in depth. I didn't quite understand what the debt capital was. Can we go over that? I didn't understand what the grant capital was. Can we go over that? So we'll have that one-on-one also. But from there, what we're also looking to do is set up markets. We want to set up markets so businesses can trial their product. So coming out, and I got a shea butter line. I got a new juice I'm trying to try out, which you probably need to get your license first before you start doing juice and food. But something like that, we'll have like a farmer's market and trial out the businesses that need to be tried. See if there's demand for the type of business that you want. So that's what we're working on right now with that. And then we also have a survey, a community development survey out, basically to see what South DeKalb residents want: accessibility, safety, uh, information that they know in the community, what they want to see in South DeKalb. So with that survey, what we're doing is putting that together, putting that data. You can go to our website, bfun.org, and on that website, you can see the survey data, which is live. And in that live data, you'll be able to maneuver by zip codes, by ethnicity, by gender, and then at the bottom it has like census map, and you can play with census map, see the north and south divide on the census map. But this is to basically give the community information and equip them with the information. So if they need to go to community meeting and they having concerns, 70% of your community is saying this. And also we're going to use these papers. We're going to take this data to write papers and basically highlight where we need funding inside of South DeKalb.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. Just one more question for you: the data. Why is the data so important?
The data is so important because if I tell you, hey, I don't think we got no grocery stores in South DeKalb, you'll just say, hey, that's Maurice saying that. But if I take a data and I say, hey, out of 2,000 people, 60% said the same thing I said, now you have power in numbers. Now we go from qualitative to quantitative and really are identifying problems that are mass problems. Because if it's 30 different people saying 30 different things, it's hard to tackle that. But if you have 2,000 people that are saying the same thing, now you put that together. Now people that don't live in South DeKalb have an idea because they don't know John from South DeKalb, but they do know, hey, look at this. These home values are 100,000. These home values are 300,000. Here it goes, bing, 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 and you put that into data, and you can tell a story with that data. That helps align people with what's going on in the community that may not know the community, or people that do know the community. It helps them get an understanding of what is the community as a whole saying. So that's why we want to specifically focus on this data, and it allows us at the end of the day to get community input.
All right, well, look, I appreciate you coming out today, getting on here at BF Fun, TikTok Live, and anything else you want to say to the people?
I think the biggest thing is BF Fun is designed to build a community, keep people informed, increase access to resources, and fix some of these ills that have inherently affected our community. So with this, we're trying to redo banking, redo community development, and put it back into people's hands.
All right, cool. All right, that was wonderful. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Thanks for coming out. All right, cool. All right, that was wonderful. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Thanks for coming out.